I guess that's just kind of an overview of why this is important. But really what I wanted to do was try to practice and play with some of the excerpts from this particular chapter by talking through it as opposed to typing through it, which I'll try to type this up, some of these thoughts and passages and respond to them in similar fashion to, to the way I've done it before on my blog. And, you can kind of see an example of that through the Bourdieu that I've been writing about up till recently. So anyway, I don't know, I suppose I'll just start by reading a few things that I've marked a lot of things. But there's a few things in this particular chapter that stand out. Now I'm going to start on page 207. The speech in the speaker does not translate ready-made thought, but accomplishes it. A fortiori must it be recognized that the listener receives thought from speech itself. Speech does not translate ready-made thought, but accomplishes it. Then he goes on, and he says, there is then a taking up of others' thought through speech, a reflection in others, an ability to think according to others, which enriches our own thoughts. Here the meaning of words must be finally induced by the words themselves, or more exactly, their conceptual meaning must be formed by a kind of deduction from a gestural meaning, which is immanent in speech. Here the meaning of words must be finally induced by the words themselves, or more exactly, their conceptual meaning must be formed by a kind of deduction from a gestural meaning, which is immanent in speech. A gestural meaning. So he's alluding to something that he's already expressed, throughout and before, that speech does not equal thought automatically, and thought is not necessarily manifest in speech automatically. Let me read a footnote real quick. And this is to his line that the speech does not translate ready-made thought, but accomplishes it. He says, there is, of course, every reason to distinguish between an authentic speech, which formulates for the first time, and second-order expression, speech about speech, which makes up the general run of empirical language. Only the first is identical with thought. Back to his comment that the meaning of words must finally be induced by words themselves. Their conceptual meaning must be formed by a kind of deduction from a gestural meaning, which is immanent in speech. The gestural meaning that he's referring to is the experience of speech. The orator does not think before speaking, nor even while speaking. His speech is his thought. In the same way, the listener does not form concepts on the basis of signs. The orator's thought is empty while he is speaking, and, when a text is read to us, provided that it is read with expression, we have no thought marginal to the text itself, for the words fully occupy our mind and exactly fulfill our expectations, and we feel the necessity of speech. Although we are unable to predict its course, we are possessed by it. The end of the speech or text will be the lifting of a spell. It is at this stage that the thoughts on the speech or text will be able to arise. So, alright, we have to experience speech, we have to experience language before we can have thoughts about it. The orator does not think before speaking, nor even while speaking. His speech is his thought. And that's what I'm trying to work through right now. I'm trying to be that orator. I'm trying to, if I don't think before speaking, nor even while speaking, then my speech is my thought, and I guess I'm developing my thoughts right now. And I think that what well, since I haven't written about this and I'm still trying to digest it, I guess that's feeling somewhat true, because I'm kind of in need of somebody to share this language with, and I'm in need of somebody who has experienced this language before, this philosophy, to utter it so that I can hear it and then it can be familiar, because in that way it becomes significant. The philosophy, the essence of this philosophy can have significance and can have meaning, because right now I'm still kind of wading through this and trying to make sense of it. And that's exactly what Merleau-Ponty talks about. Light bulb going off. We have to, and here we can make a connection to Dewey, to John Dewey and Vygotsky, their concepts of play, I think. We have to play with language. It's in the process of developing higher order processes, and this is a reference to Vygotsky. A child has to play with the various rules and conventions of a social situation in order to come to know them. And so I guess in a way that's kind of what Merleau-Ponty is saying here, that we have to play with language. We have to play with different ways of expressing ourselves through the body. And back to this comment about gestural meaning, about words being a gestural meaning. It's the body that communicates. It's the body that expresses. And that's what he means. And so speak itself is actually a gesture, a physical gesturing of the body. And so the body is expressing itself in this particular form of speech. And so we have to allow our bodies this play, this physiological play, in order to get to thought.